going on, everybody? Happy Monday to you all. Hope your Sunday scaries weren't so bad. And if it's not Monday, well, thanks for finally getting to us. You know, I'm sure your lives are busy. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah.
Rochelle, you have an update. Do you not?
Yes.
I know you people like to hear sometimes some follow-ups to some of our callers.
Yeah, and if you are someone who has called in the past, please email me. Let us know.
Rochelle's
everything.
a big fan of these follow-ups. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not, but
You don't lie awake at night wondering what happened.
No.
Okay, so do you guys remember, this is one of our craziest callers. We had the doctor who was dating someone, and all of a sudden she started getting weird Instagram messages from someone.
I remember her, yeah. Oh, rather cute lady. Not rather. She was very beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's just like, why are you wasting your time?
Exactly.
You're a doctor. But anyways.
Yeah, I said this last episode,
Was
but
I
sometimes
right?
you get these emails thinking like...
And she couldn't figure out. We just assumed it was like the ex.
You assumed it was the ex.
I
thought it was some mentally ill, like... Turns out the mystery is solved. It was the ex of the guy.
How'd she find out?
It was indeed. She tracked the IP address. So she didn't just let it go, move on with her life.
She's those doctor brains.
She tracked the IP address to a specific building in San Francisco that he confirmed she worked at. Okay, she's a nurse, okay? And she works in administration. So she's wondering, like...
The ex is a nurse?
The ex is a nurse. So
Part
interesting
of the
pattern.
healthcare community.
Yeah. So the caller is concerned. She's thinking like she needs to let someone know this person is obviously mentally unstable. She's concerned that, you know, she has access to all of this stuff. So she talked to the guy and he says, no. We don't want to report it. We don't want to like get involved. And he also was acting like it wasn't a big deal at first when she told him about it.
So she's still talking to this guy.
So she's still talking to him.
I feel like I
remember what you told her.
Didn't we tell her to move on from this guy?
Yeah, you said that like it didn't start until you started seeing him. So he's the common denominator. Get rid of him.
Yeah. So she's still hanging out with him.
Yeah.
She seemed like she was pretending she didn't like him that much.
She was pretending she didn't like him that much. Exactly.
So she's still.
Yeah. She should wear this shirt I'm wearing.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's one of the. Yeah. I don't know if it's I don't respect myself situation.
Yeah. What situation is it?
I don't know. I mean, it's drama and it's kind of fairly toxic, but it doesn't seem like it's not like a situation where he's, you know, the I don't respect myself situation is he's not giving you anything.
Yeah.
But always, you know, he's breadcrumbing you. You know, just kind of leaving little breadcrumbs to keep you around, but never really giving anything you want, but you keep chasing him. Mm-hmm. I don't get that in this situation, but this seems like a toxic situation of which she's having more fun with it than I think she's putting on.
You mean tracking the IP address?
Yeah, she's playing investigator, so to speak.
Yeah.
No, she should just get Hunt to Killer and call it a day.
Exactly. So I thought that was kind of fun.
You know what? Sometimes we like to just stay. We live in our drama too much.
Yeah,
why do we do that? It's boredom.
Yeah.
Have you ever stalked someone?
No. I said that very hesitantly, didn't I?
You said that like, well, I wouldn't call it that, but like all my friends did. He's still alive.
I'm guilty. I think this is common. I can get down rabbit holes online of like looking into who someone is dating now, and then suddenly you're on their second cousin's like newborn Instagram page, and you're like, why am I here?
Really?
How did I get here?
You've gone that far. Is this guys that you're thinking about dating, or guys you've gone on a date with, or exes, or all
exes? Yeah, but like. I just think it's a bad habit of like, and then you just say, okay, I'm not doing this anymore.
When was the last time you've done that?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
What? And is it Why?
Well,
What's the
I thought you said
motivation?
something interesting last time of like when you got cheated on, you had the thoughts of why are they better than me?
Sure, yeah.
And I think like I can fall into that sometimes too. Like, why is this person good enough? And so you try to figure it out. But there's
Yeah.
not a
It's not really, there's nothing to really be gathered about yourself by looking at someone else's.
Exactly.
And the truth is what they are is different most of the time.
Yeah.
Think about when we stop liking someone and then start dating someone else, and what do we normally do? We end up kind of dating different versions of the same person,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So all that person is probably a different version of you.
Yeah.
And they're just not annoyed with them yet.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for reasons of what things they might, get annoyed with. And I love it when people are like, well, I can't believe he's hanging out with so-and-so. But like, they do this and they told me they hate this, or who cares?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's like we go on looking for something to make us upset. Like you say, if you go on looking for that, you're going to find it. And eventually you get tired of making yourself feel bad.
You'll always find what you're trying to find.
Yeah.
If you're looking to get mad, it's a great place to go is the internet. And make sure to check us out tomorrow. We have a special guest for our Bachelor Recap, Rob Mills.
This is so fun.
Mr. ABC Executive of Chart. He's in charge of alternative programming, I think is his official title. Basically, he's in charge of The Bachelor on the ABC end. Well, I have a relationship with Rob from having been The Bachelor and been on the TV, and he was kind enough to join us. What's so great about Rob is he is as much of a fan of the show as he is in charge of it all.
That's so
cool. He'll help us break down an amazing episode.
It's perfect.
It is an amazing episode. You guys are going to enjoy it tonight. So Rob joins us. And then on Wednesday, Megan King Edmonds joins us, who is so kind enough to join us. She's been in the news a lot. Obviously, she's going through a lot right now with her divorce, and she's been obviously very open and transparent with things going on. She's obviously on Real Housewives.
Former Real Housewives.
And we had a fun conversation about just obviously what's next for her, moving on, what her dating life is, hopefully going to look like. And really enjoyed talking to her. So come back on Wednesday, and it will be a ton of fun. Changing the game when it comes to marriage.
Zola.
I mean, listen. I wasn't sure if I wanted to get married anymore, but now that I know Zola's going to make it easier, sign me up. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Women of the world rejoice.
Just so you know, Zola has changed my perspective for the better when it comes to marriage, because at least they'll make it easy on me. At least the planning part.
It just makes it less stressful. Yeah, the planning part. You get a free website. There's hundreds of designs that you can choose from. You can make it in minutes. They also have the highest rated gift registry of all time. So it's all there on the website. Plus you get 20% off post-wedding discount on the registry. And they have invites that you can get there right on Zola.
I mean, people have canceled weddings for some of the things that they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to the wedding planning process.
It's so unromantic to be like fighting about this kind of stuff before you get married, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, shit, if you can't get that figured out, then what are you going to do? But truth is, maybe that's not the problem. Maybe you're just stressed out.
Exactly.
So just release that stress.
You got to get Zola. Also, they have a free guest list manager, so you can keep track of who's coming.
I mean, I think you've heard enough from us of why you need to check out Zola.
Yeah.
So go to zola.com/VIALL today and use promo code SAVE50 to get, and listen to this, a whopping 50% off your save the dates. Whew, that's half off for those of you not good at math. You can also get a free personalized paper sample before your purchase. Free. That's 50% off save the dates at zola.com/VIALL. Promo code SAVE50. Butcher Box. Well, hey, listen, I eat meat. I'm not going to apologize for it. And I know there's plenty of people who don't.
Right.
But there's still a lot of us who do. Mm-hmm. And those of you who do want the convenience and quality that Butcher Box provides.
Yeah. And the Super Bowl is coming up. You got to have snacks for the Super Bowl.
And you may not eat meat, but all your friends, trust me, they do.
Yeah. What kind of snacks do you like for the Super Bowl?
I mean, anything.
Sliders. Right? Oh,
wings,
yeah. Wings.
Sliders. Really anything with meat. Listen, I'm a meat guy.
I like buffalo chicken dip.
Mm.
Doesn't that sound good?
They have the highest quality meat, and I'm very particular with my meat.
Yes.
You can really make or break,
as you should be,
a meal of what goes in, what the animals were eating before, the quality, how it was processed, so to speak. Butcher Box, they're great, and I'm a
shipped right to your door.
I'm a huge advocate for it, and obviously very convenient.
Yeah.
Right now, you can get free wings for life. Well, and a great place to start getting free wings for life is for your Super Bowl party. Plus, get $20 off your first box. That's 3 pounds of wings in every box for the life of your subscriptions. Plus, $20 off your first box. Just go to butcherbox.com/VIALL or use promo code VIALL at checkout. That's butcherbox.com/VIALL or use promo code VIALL at checkout.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
All right. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm 22 years old.
Hi, Tiff, 22.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about my friend today because I think I just need advice on how to handle questions she asked me, I guess.
Okay.
So she has these 2 guys that she's been talking to. They're both quite older than her. She's 22 also. And these guys are 34 and 36. And she's never really done anything before. Not like, she's never been in a relationship. She's never really done anything sexually or whatever.
She's a virgin?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is she hanging out with 30? Okay, go ahead.
She's not really hanging out with them. It's all over text. She actually knows them both from in person, but she's never, since they've been talking, she's never been with them in person, if that makes sense.
Sure. I mean, it doesn't make sense why, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's because one of them was her athletic trainer in college, so she was his athlete.
Are you like referring?
The other one was her manager at the place she worked. I think for me, the age difference isn't the biggest thing. It's more the way they talk to her. It's like the language they use is very kind of disrespectful, I think, and very forward. They'll say things like, because she's tried to make it clear that like she hasn't really done anything before, and they'll say things like, I wouldn't be able to like stick to your boundaries if I was with you because I wouldn't be able to keep my hands off of you.
I wouldn't
and
be
things
able to
like that.
So is she's saying, hey, listen, I'm a virgin.
Okay, she sent me this text. Hey, look, this is what this one guy said. Hey, look, I'm sorry. I just know that I'm the kind of person that would violate those boundaries the second we got together. I wouldn't be intentionally trying to hurt your feelings, just the way I am. But hey, you got my number. I've always had the same one.
But
definitely would not mind hanging out with you.
Okay, obviously, certainly reading this, we all agree it sounds a little creepy. I'm question like, what did she say to him? Was she saying, I like, you know what I'm saying? There's, in fairness, there's only like there's one part here. Like, I mean, people had, sexed all the time, and I'm saying, is she saying to him, I like you, but I don't want to, like, what's prompting him to say these things? I guess I'm curious.
No, like, I think, so I feel like she's always kind of had lower self-esteem when it comes to guys. And I think the fact that they're older guys that are showing interest in her, I think she likes that.
Yeah.
My question is, like, why are you calling in the sense of, like, what is she doing and what is she asking you and what is her goal out of this?
So at first I was kind of pushing her to try to hang out with these guys in person because I thought if she did it in person, she would realize she wasn't super into them or whatever, because I feel like it can be different in person. But she's told me that she wants to have sex with them. And I think that's where, just because of the things they've said, like if she decides she wants to stop or something, I'm just a little worried that maybe they wouldn't respect that.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get your concern, and I think that's great as a friend. I'm a little nervous to say take an out of context text and just completely accuse these guys as maybe predators of some sort. I mean, I agree that text sounds creepy, but there's just a lot of information we don't have. That could just be dirty talk or sexting or whatever. I don't know if I could handle myself around you. It might be his way of saying, I find you really hot. And when it comes down to it, he might be the nicest and most respectful guy. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know him.
Yeah, I don't know them either, but I have seen like longer conversations between them, and none of it, even when it's not in the more sexual context, it's usually kind of like, oh, you're just scared to have sex. Like once we start, you'll be fine. Like
they're trying to convince her to have sex.
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah.
And what's it called when the older men to get women? There's like a word for what they do to like get them ready when they grooming. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. There's like a grooming thing. I'm looking it up because I don't know the signs.
I do find that weird and don't relate. In my experience, if I've gone out with a girl who's younger than me, I'm literally the opposite. I'm feel like I'm the one who's just like, I don't know, like I just and they seem to be more the pursuers in that instance. And I'm not saying one's right or wrong, but because the age factor that he had, they do just age alone, they have more experience, and there's certainly a power dynamic there. And the fact that seems uncomfortable that they seem to be exercising that power.
Two different people.
But that's also like interesting, the fact that there's these two different guys. And so why is she, what's going on there? Why is it all of a sudden these two guys that she knows? I mean, I'm saying she is an adult and she's, like let's not act like she's being kidnapped or anything. Like she's pursuing these guys, and yeah, what they're saying seems a bit creepy, but like why is she reaching out to these guys? Like why is you're talking to her and she's sharing these texts with you, she's looping you in and she's telling you, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just a lot. I don't know. I mean,
I don't.
She actually didn't tell me about any of them until like a few months after she'd been talking to them. And I kind of had to yank it out of her because I could tell something was going on. And I'm the only person she talks to, which is why I guess I feel some pressure to like say the right thing.
So what is she saying to you? Like you two are talking and she's saying, hey, I'm talking to these guys. I like them. I'm thinking about losing my virginity with one or both of them. Is that how it's going? Or are you getting the sense that she's feeling pressured by them or does she like, let me ask you this, her being a virgin, do you get the sense that she's tired of being a virgin and she just wants to lose it to somebody? Or like, you know what I'm saying? What's going on here?
And that's what I really don't know. Like all of her close friends aren't virgins. And so I don't know if that's part of it. I really don't know. I've never heard her talk about wanting to have sex until she was telling me about these guys. So I really don't know.
Does she keep this a secret from other people? Like, are you the only person who knows, do you think?
Yeah, she hasn't told like anyone else.
I mean, I don't. Here's the thing. There's just a lot of information we don't have about these guys. I think here's what you consider. I think it's important as a friend to, try to get her to open up to you about her sexuality and what she wants, and don't make her, like, listen, I think it's really cool that you're a virgin, and if you want to lose it, that's great, but make sure that you are comfortable and make sure that you really want, and don't let anyone convince you to do it before you're ready. I would really bring that point. Try to make her feel very empowered about her virginity and try to make her feel very confident about it,
Okay, here's another text. Just please promise me that you're not sharing any of this information with anyone. I could be in deep trouble. See, that's like, I just looked up grooming, that he's talking to her. So one of the key tenets is that it's secrecy and they bind you secrecy, also establishing trust. They all establish trust because they've worked with her. So, I mean, I think she should trust her gut that something's amiss.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with this grooming thing. And that does sound weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird to say, like, for example, because this doesn't sound like sexting or anything. Like if I'm dating anyone, right? And let's say there's some sexting going on, and I hope that we're not sharing it with, there's just like, I've dated people where, you know, there's been some sexting and it's kind of like, hey, you're not like, you don't share this, right? You know, there's that. But this whole, like, I've never said to anyone I would be in big trouble for, you know what I'm, that's weird. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
I'm just not familiar with this grooming idea.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I just think for you as a friend, what you can do is empower her, make her feel like, you really got to make her feel like confident in her, the fact that she's still a virgin. And then if she wants to lose it, that's great. But just make sure that she's ready. And maybe, I don't know, read her in on this grooming concept. I think this could be going on here.
I just think she's so lucky to have you as a friend and someone who cares, and like that felt she could trust you to tell you, like, you're being a really good friend, and I think that's awesome.
These texts are the guys coming from both these guys. It seems so random that if this is what's going on, this grooming thing, that she's found two guys who are both doing
It's not random because
this.
they find there's like a type of person who can fall victim to this. So to me, I don't think it's that weird, because if she's probably the perfect type of victim for this, and that's why this has happened. Like, a lot of times people who have bad experiences, it's not like an isolated experience, because
she hasn't had any experience.
I know, but I'm saying I don't think it's that weird because they can probably tell exactly the right person to do this.
Well, and so about that one text that you just read, I asked her what she thought he meant about, like, not being able to tell anyone, and she said she thought it was because he was her manager, but he's also mentioned how he had a girlfriend who, like, tries to come back in sometimes. And so I don't know if maybe there is.
He's not our manager,
and
he's not our manager anymore, right? I mean,
no.
What could he? It doesn't make sense that he'd get in trouble. Like, they're two adults. That doesn't make sense.
But so that's in her head why he said that, but I don't think that's what it is.
Well, to Rochelle's point, I think you should say, hey, listen, I don't know, but it doesn't make sense that he would be in trouble. And not that you should go tell anyone, because that's between you and him, but doesn't that concern you? Let's say to her, like, let's look at the possibilities. Well, you don't work for him anymore. So that wouldn't get him in trouble. So why is he keeping this a secret?
Yeah.
Either A, he's not telling you something, or B, it's just a manipulation tactic on his part.
Yeah.
You know, either way, that this sounds not right. So you're kind of breaking that down.
And just encourage her, like you're saying, like try finding someone who isn't in like a different power dynamic than you. Maybe try dating someone your own age for a while. Like, just encourage her, like, show her all these things that maybe aren't adding up on paper, and like do it with love. Like,
but again, that's the thing is, like, you know, the age, like you. Just because she's a virgin doesn't mean she has to, like, date another 22-year-old or 23-year-old. But what I think the important part is that she should just feel. Again, I can't relate because I wasn't at 22 a virgin, and I lost my virginity at 17, and it was kind of at a time in my life where I was like, am I ready? I don't know. I didn't feel pressure to lose my virginity. And I don't know if she is feeling pressure, right? To, like, oh, all my friends aren't virgins and I just want to get it over with. And if she is feeling pressure, then she could be at risk of putting herself in a situation that might not be the healthiest to that point, because she just wants to get it over with. So to that point, don't make her feel like this. Like, hey, I think it's cool that you are a virgin, kind of thing, you know. So
I want to know if this might change anything, because I always forget. But when they were drunk one night, like separately, one of the guys messaged her and said that he loved her. And so she said it back. And I think that's part of why she might be a little more, like, wanting to have sex with him more, because she thinks that those feelings are there.
I mean, I don't know if that's the case, then she maybe has some maturing to do, because, like, again, this isn't even just one guy. There's two different guys. And just because some guy says, I love you, doesn't mean she has to say it back, you know, and just, you know, and again, I could appreciate why it might feel good on her part. You know, she's getting attention. I understand that. But why is she, I mean, first and foremost, why is she, like, why these two guys, you know, what's going on there that she's, you know, it's not even if they were telling the story, like, hey, she's dating this one guy and she says she's in love and I have my concerns. There's like, from what I'm understanding, these two guys, there's some similarities with their age, and there's similarities in the fact they both could be argued they have a power dynamic over her.
Yeah.
And they both seem to be doing these things. So like what's going on there that she's doing that, and I don't have that answer, but like just make her feel like, that she doesn't have to feel pressure. That's all. And like, just get herself in a situation where she feels more in control. Ask her, do you feel like you're in control of these situations? That'd be a question I'd curious if she asks, because I want you to feel like you should be in control.
Yeah.
And in these tough situations, when anytime you are afraid that your friend's in a toxic situation, the only thing you really can do is just show them as much love and support as you can, and make them feel empowered. Because in these situations, they feel a little like they don't have power, they don't have control. She's probably spending all her time trying to figure out these guys. What do they mean by this? What are they saying? These if they are being manipulated.
Yeah.
So make her, you gotta, but try to do it without pushing her away. Don't make her feel judged. Don't make her feel stupid. Don't make her feel, you know what I'm saying? These are all like, and there's a fine line because it can be tough, but
I
think that's where I've been struggling is because I'm the only person she talks to, I don't know how much to like push back on her about these guys, and because I don't want her to feel like she can't talk to me about it anymore, that I'm judging her, I guess.
I think she should. My biggest concern is, why is she keeping these? Why are these secrets?
Because the men want them to be. I honestly think you need to tell like someone, like I think you should tell like her parents or something, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. I just am worried for her, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, this is new to me, and I'm confused. But she is an adult, and she doesn't work for these people. At any point, she could just stop talking to them. I understand they've asked her not to. I understand they've said these things, but you know what I'm saying? I don't like. There's nothing really stopping her from shutting it down.
Like there's just control things that people can do.
Sure, but at the risk of her going behind her friend's back, I mean. Yeah. I don't want to give you advice, all of a sudden threaten this friendship if your friend's not in danger. But I think you just talk to her, voice your concern. What I think you should do is say, hey, listen, like this, I don't know why you're making this a secret. This shouldn't be. And if she says, well, they've asked me not to, then that's an opportunity for you to say, well, they shouldn't be asking you not to. And it should concern you that they are asking you to keep a secret, because you're doing nothing wrong. Talking to another adult about a potential dating situation shouldn't remain a secret. Mm-hmm. And there's a difference between like not, putting your relationship life on blast on social media versus like, why do you have to keep this a secret? And if you do, then there's something wrong. And if there's something wrong, then she should walk away. Like you kind of almost have to reverse engineer it and kind of saying, you know what I'm saying? Like try to set some clarity around it, because that to me is the biggest red flag. This shouldn't be a secret. Yeah. It shouldn't be taboo. It shouldn't be wrong. And if it is, then there's something they're not,
Right,
then,
totally.
And then that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Modern fertility.
Modern fertility. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. I mean, I'll tell you what, a lot of women I know talk about obviously having kids, which is awesome. And sometimes that process, what I hear, can be stressful.
Right. Or even thinking that it might be stressful.
Again, I don't know this, but I have enough of women friends that it seems to be a topic of conversation.
Exactly.
So do yourself a favor and take the worry, or at least the unknown worry. Yeah. Out of it, and save some money.
You don't have to go to the doctor. It's only $139.
Which that's a lot less expensive than normal.
Yes, a ton. And so I did it. You just prick your finger, you put it on this piece of paper, you send it in, and then they send you your results. It's a really nice website, really easy to use, really easy to read.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like a lot of this, it's not black and white, right? Like you may get some information back that says, hey, This might be more challenging, but here's some things you can do.
Exactly.
Et cetera, et cetera. So you can be proactive with some of the things that you might need to do to help you and your well, maybe just yourself, or you and your husband or boyfriend conceive maybe easier than you otherwise would have thought.
And then you talk one-on-one with a fertility nurse to review your results and your options for your next steps.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's such a great thing. Right now, Modern Fertility is offering our listeners $20 off the test when you go to modernfertility.com/VIALL. That means your test will cost $139 instead of the hundreds or thousands it could cost at a doctor's office. Get $20 off your fertility test when you go to modernfertility.com/VIALL. modernfertility.com/VIALL. Everyone loves a great airbrush for makeup.
Yep.
I know I would.
You have had it.
I have. Well, on set.
You wear makeup. Everyone, it's fine. Nick wears makeup sometimes.
Yeah, when I'm on set.
Yeah, you're
I don't have one at home, but we're talking about the convenience of your home. Yeah. I will say that if I were a makeup user, this is what I would do, because anytime I felt like I was really getting a professional experience, they airbrush the shit out of it.
They always airbrush when you're professional. Well, now you can do it at home.
Even applications.
It's 4-in-1, so you don't have to put primer on. You don't have to put cover up. It's all there, and it's really small and portable. I have one. Really easy to use.
I'll say this about makeup and men. I think all men really ever need when it comes to makeup is an excuse. I'll tell you what.
Wear it.
Yeah.
I'll
tell you what. When going on The Bachelor, it was like you get a bunch of these like bros from the middle America, and then the makeup artist is like, "Well, let me touch you up." By like day 2, they're like, "Do you think I need makeup?
Yeah.
Do you think I need makeup? Yeah. I mean, if you tell me I need makeup, I'll wear makeup. Like, it's fine. Like, what do you think I should do? Should I wear makeup?" All of the guys,
really
every
funny.
single one.
Well, with Luminous, what I also love is that it's a 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% color match guarantee and a 1-year warranty. So if for some reason you get it, you don't like it, you can just send it back.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Check it out, ladies and men, for the makeup.
Seriously.
Check it out, makeup wearers. We don't want to make it about your gender. No. Luminous Air has a limited time offer for you right now. Go to trysilk.com/VIALL to get 60% off your Luminous Silk airbrush system, 4-in-1 airbrush system. That's trysilk.com/VIALL. Get smoother, fuller, and more natural looking foundation coverage. Visit trysilk.com/VIALL today.
Ooh, tough stuff.
Can I ask, how would you open that conversation, I guess? Because we've already had so many conversations about it. So I don't know how to I'm not a super direct person, so I don't know how to just open that conversation.
I'm curious, she's sharing these texts with you. Yes, obviously. Right? How do you have access?
What?
She shared these texts with you. Yeah? Right? And why?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious as to why, though. She's confused. She must have some questions if she's asking you.
She doesn't really ask me questions. She just when she sends me those texts, she's not reading it in a weird way. She's happy about them. She thinks they're good.
Does she?
She's he is into me.
Does she not get attention?
I think she thinks she doesn't. We tell her all the time how pretty she is and how guys like her, and she says that we just say that because we're her friends. So I think maybe in her head she thinks she doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those tough situations. You just got to try to be as loving as possible and try to just keep doing that and make her feel comfortable. And again, there's that fine line because, if she sends you these texts, be like, "Hey, listen," you just come out listen, I don't know this guy or whatever, but I'm concerned because it shouldn't be a secret kind of thing. And
yeah, I think that's a good angle.
But also I just don't get what does she want? Why is she trying to, either they do like her or they don't. She needs to know that if she wants to hang out with seemingly older guys, then she needs to act more mature in that sense. And so it's one of those things too. It's just you don't get to, that's where I'm uncomfortable, because what you're painting a picture of a girl who is maybe a little not as mature emotionally as maybe some of her peers. And that's fine. And that person shouldn't be hanging out with older guys, because it must be very confusing. And to Rochelle's point, maybe these guys are good at targeting people like your friends who are not able to do that. Because there might be 23, 24-year-old women who are like very mature and I've been, you know, like
had three boyfriends.
And some guy says that shit and they're like, that's fucking weird, dude. And they don't, and they're not afraid to call the guy out.
Exactly.
So you're in this tough spot of doing that. So you just have to try to make her see this. And part of it is just don't make her feel judged. I don't know. That's all I can say is try to make her, you know, mention it, suggest it without making her feel judged. You know, I've been there, you know, you relate. Even if maybe you didn't relate, be like, I had this situation once where I felt like this guy did this to me and I realized, and I wonder if that might be going on. You're clearly a babe. Who wouldn't want, of course he likes you. Who wouldn't like you? But, you know, like, why is it a secret?
Yeah.
You know, don't get yourself in a situation where other people, you know, kind of like that. I mean, it's a tough situation.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks
Just
for being a good friend.
Shower her with love and support. Try not to make her feel judged, and just keep giving her examples and help her ask the right questions to these guys.
Yeah. And reach out if you need more support, you know, moving forward.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck. Thanks for calling. I've learned something about this grooming thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
I am Abigail, and I'm 28.
Hi, Abigail, 28. How can we help?
Okay. So I sent in a novel, so I'm just going to give like the high point.
Thank you.
And
Rochelle will make sure that you, if you leave anything out.
If I'm missing anything,
Rochelle
let me know.
will let us know.
Yeah. Okay. So I grew up in a really bad home situation and didn't have a lot of support just because I was always super quiet about it. Like, never told anybody, was always like kind of forced or scared into not saying anything. And in high school, I did have one really close guy friend who didn't know like everything that was going on, but knew enough where like it was just he was a really safe place for me, like a really comfortable person for me to talk to. And he helped me through a lot of stuff. We never dated, never like hooked up or anything like that. There was always, I feel like he had feelings for me, but I had dated his friend. So I knew I was off limits and like grew up in a really small community and things like that. So it just would have been weird if we had dated. So if I fast forward to college, like we went to different colleges. I met my now husband freshman year. And there was a little period though, where we were both single, and kind of separated from high school. So in the midst of college, actually before I met my husband, I got in a really bad, like abusive relationship. And there was one night we had made plans to, meet up the next day in our hometown, and we did. But the night before, I had been assaulted by this person. So basically, I'm really looking forward to this trip home because I'm like, okay, I'm going to see like my best friend, like everything's going to be fine. He's going to like continue to be my safe place. And that day that we met up, he basically professed his love for me, which was really like not received well by me at all. I said a lot of things that I regretted, and basically was just in this place of like, can I be anything that isn't sexual, like to anyone for once? Like, can I just have someone that's just safe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So really, really big fight, like said things that I regret, left him on the side of the road. Like we were on our way to breakfast. Like it was just bad. Like get away.
But you were in a terrible place. Yeah.
A really bad place.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we eventually like kind of acted like it never happened. I went on dating my now husband. And And he and I stayed like kind of superficially close. I went to a couple of date parties at his university. Like we kept up over breaks. And then he started dating somebody. And it was great. Like we hung out as couples and everything, and just really normal, but like never really brought up what had happened between us. So I started going through therapy recently, not recently, for a couple of years. And he's come up a lot, like as somebody who I think I feel a lot of guilt for the way that I've handled things. And then also just somebody that I've kind of realized, like, I don't want to have this superficial relationship with him. I don't have any relationship with any of my family. And he's kind of like the closest thing to me that I can still kind of hold on to from like childhood, high school.
But you're married, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I did. I brought it up with my husband and I was like, I think I'm going to call, so-and-so and, basically kind of let him know basically what was going on when we were friends and apologize for that really bad conversation. So I did. And it was a really good conversation. We talked for like 4 hours. And I think just getting all of that out in the open, and we had decided in that conversation that like once a month or whenever we can, like just call each other on our lunch break and kind of like catch up and decide to be more active friends, if that makes sense. So we did that a few times and everything was going great. It was good to catch up, and I was really enjoying like hearing more about his marriage, and he was asking me about having kids and stuff like that. Yes, he's married now. Okay. Yes. Until a few weeks ago, he texted me at like 2 a.m. on a Saturday night, 3 times in a row, saying, I want to see you. Oh, it makes me so mad. And I woke up like Sunday morning and I looked at my phone and I just instantly knew that our friendship was over. I just had this feeling in my gut, and then like sure as shit, like his wife saw it. And we had to have this like conversation, and it turns out we kind of like decompressed that next Monday during our lunch break. And he was like, well, she's always like had an issue with you anyway, which was news to me. I mean, I had absolutely no idea that she even knew that he had liked me at one point. Like, I feel like we were so
sure. I
never told anybody about that. So yeah, so that's where we're at. My thing is, I feel like I know the answer to this dilemma. In my mind, it's like, you just don't mess with somebody else's marriage. And I said, like, if I've lost with her, then I've lost with you. Like, I'm not going to fight for something that like isn't mine. Like, it's not my marriage. It's not like, if she's not okay with me, I'm not going to, first of all, go behind her back and talk to you. And I've kind of gotten to the point where like, I just don't think we can be friends, like at all. Like, I just don't think there's a world now that, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Is that your overall question? Do I agree with the fact that you don't think you guys can be friends anymore or not?
I guess I'm just wondering if there's a different angle I could be looking at it. Like, and I think I'm just surprised at the extent to which this has affected me. Just like when it comes to resilience and like brushing things off and dealing with things, like I can deal with pretty much anything at this point, but this has really gotten to me.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's hard for me to relate in any way of some of the things that you shared. I mean, yeah. I didn't have a troubled childhood like you have, and I wasn't assaulted in any way, and I still have great relationships with my parents, and I have 10 siblings, and I have friends. So, and those are all important to me. So the only thing I can relate in the sense is that when you express the fact that what he was to you is a connection to this childhood and like seeming like the one good bright spot of your past, I can try to appreciate that because of how important it is to me, right? And so I can totally get why you are trying to hang on to that friendship. But unfortunately, yeah, you're probably right, is that it still doesn't change the fact that he has these feelings for you. And it sucks that he is married now, and it sucks that his wife has to deal with this. And then he probably wasn't totally honest with her about his feelings for you. He was probably trying to mask that, and I'm sure he has his version, right? His story about this girl he was in love with, who he tried to be friends with and couldn't, and then shot his shot and got tragically shut down, and then you call up apologizing for it, and he probably accepted it for what it was at the time, as, hey, I'm sorry for how I treated you, but we can't help who we love sometimes and how we have feelings for, and he gets drunk, and you know what I'm saying? So it just kind of unfortunately sounds like a bummer situation, right? Yeah. And you tried your best to make it work, even though deep down it never really had a shot, and given your situation, I understand your motivation. I mean, if it was someone else, let's say you called up and told me the story, and you were like, yeah, he's just a guy I've been friends with, and, I've had a good childhood, and I have all these things, I would just be like, hey, you got to let this shit go. Yeah, but for you, I literally can't relate to this desire of wanting to hang on to him for that. But unfortunately, yes, it seems like you have exhausted all your options. And the reality is he is not your friend. I mean, he cares about you as a friend does, and he obviously loves you, and you are married to someone else, and he's married, and more importantly, forgetting about his marriage, because that's not your responsibility. Yeah. You don't think of him that way. And unfortunately, that's how he thinks of you. And so you just kind of have to accept that, and hopefully what you have in your life now, and your husband, and your marriage, and it will be enough. And I understand that that's sad that you'll have to say goodbye to that. But if there's a silver lining, he does love you, this guy. Yeah. He cares about you. And while you may not be able to have him in your life and have him in a way that you hope to have him as a friend, like there's nothing, it's kind of one of those kind of beautiful, sad love stories that just didn't work out. Yeah. But he still cares about you. He really wants the best for you. He's having a hard time expressing it. I feel bad for him because I'm sure he loves his wife, but he just never really, he cares about you. And unfortunately, you don't feel the same way, and sometimes that happens. But
and I'm kind of to this place where, and I was talking to my husband about this, and he feels like it's just kind of the fact that regardless, even if he hadn't like texted me or something, almost that there was no way I ever could have been in his life again, just because I was like a reminder of something that didn't like happen for him or even for her. Like, I think her knowing that I was the girl that like he wanted but didn't get.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's just like that's the thing too. It's entirely possible because he had these feelings for you certainly at one point and didn't get you, and again, he could easily be very much in love with his wife, but then like they have a bad month, they get in a fight, and then it's so easy to like, reminisce about you, and maybe because seemingly you guys most times are friends, you become these, friends. What do the friends do? They vent to each other, and sometimes they share their frustrations about the relationship, and if it's of the opposite sex, then, oh, you're so understanding, unfortunately, like, in any relationship, it's just so much easier to get mad at your spouse. You see them all the time. You get sick of them. They get annoying, they're literally actually the one person you won't get advice. I mean, 10 other people could give you the same advice and it sounds great, and your husband says, you're a fucking idiot, like, and you know what I'm saying? And so
totally.
Because deep down he has these feelings, it's just you're not his platonic friend, and he'll never actually see you that way. And it's just I think you just have to try to say goodbye to that. And then I'm sorry, because I know that's going to feel like a loss on your part, and it's not going to be easy. But again, maybe there's a silver lining of saying you're at least being the strong one here in the sense that, you know,
Right.
it's for your marriage and you know that he wishes he could have you in his life. But like you said, you just can't allow that for his sake and for his marriage's sake. And so maybe there's a fact that you are the strong one in this relationship that might be empowering. I don't know. I'm spitballing here, but,
So Mike, you don't think, because I've gone back trying to like, what could I have done to make this better? And I keep going back to the point of like, could I have maybe if she knew more about me and knew like, because like I said, many people
you did nothing
in my
wrong.
life know.
You did nothing wrong. Like you can't.
I'm wondering if I should have asked though, if I should have asked her permission, like said, hey, is it okay if I like talk to your? I mean, that feels weird to me.
I don't think
but
so.
No.
Ultimately,
You didn't do
like
anything
you're
wrong.
not. It's not your marriage to protect.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have malicious intentions
No.
from what I'm hearing. It'd be one thing if you deep down like wanted to fuck them and like you just lied to yourself. And you know what I'm saying? And like you made them believe that your intentions were different than they are. Then that's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't have these feelings for him and you were hoping and maybe, you know, like maybe you were lying to yourself deep down, always knowing you felt that way. Like, but fine, whatever. Like that's still not your responsibility. I think you just need to accept that, you know, and I don't think you should feel any guilt. You've done nothing wrong. You tried everything, literally everything. You even went back and apologized, and good for you for doing that. And that was probably a really healthy thing that you did, but you've kind of exhausted every avenue of salvaging this platonic friendship. And unfortunately that's not what it is. And now the tough part for you is just kind of accepting that and, and moving forward and, you know, certainly always show him love in an appropriate way, but not in a way that showed like not with any kind of friendship or consistency. He's not a confidant. I don't think you should trust him with any information. I don't think you should allow yourself to be a person he confides in, certainly about his relationship, because now you know, like now you've really accepted the reality and there's no going back. So I don't think you've done anything wrong. Going forward, I think you should just let it go, because if you were to say continue to try to be that person, now you know that his wife's not comfortable with it. Now you know how he really you've accepted that. So now it's now going forward, now it's on you to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And I am sorry that you are going to lose a friend, and he's probably someone who's special to you, and that sucks. But
I just want to applaud you for your resilience. And coming through, and you have a beautiful family now, and just good for you. Yeah. That's tough.
You certainly don't feel any guilt, and you don't have any responsibility to do anything that you have. And you know what? Good for you. Like, it sounds like you have a understanding husband who's been willing to talk through with this with you. Not every husband might do that. They might get immediately jealous and frustrated. So it sounds like that's great. Yeah. And keep, protect that. And that's great. And maybe just thank your husband for being patient and understanding, assuming that he is, that you're,
no, I think it's just being secure.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? I think it's just like, I don't know. I think it's just a matter of like knowing how much, I don't know. I think I'm just clearly very fiercely protective of what we have anyway.
That's
and
awesome.
He knows that, and he's secure in that.
And that's really special. And a lot of people don't have that. I guarantee there's a lot of people listening are like, oh God, I wish I had a husband to talk to. Like I could trust to talk about these things. Yeah. And so that's really, it sounds like you've overcome a lot to have this relationship. Not a lot of people who have gone through what you've gone through and been able to have very healthy communication with their husband or wife. So, that's therapy, man. That's and good for you for doing that and sharing that. So, don't feel any guilt about this. It's not your job. You can't, marriages are hard enough. You're doing enough to protect yours. You don't need to protect his. That is on him, and he needs to accept that and move on.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't write her an apology because I've drafted a few?
Definitely not.
Nope.
Okay.
That's their journey. Okay. You've done nothing wrong. I know you have nothing to be sorry for.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. All right.
Have a good one, y'all.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
this might sound cheesy, but it reminds me of Love Actually. I love the movie Love Actually, where the friend's in love with Keira Knightley, and then he comes and he says to me, "You're perfect."
Yeah,
like his last thing, and then he goes away.
Which, I'll be honest, in the movie, it's like, oh, it's so sweet, but kind of a dick fucking move. That's a terrible fucking friend.
He wanted to tell.
I get it. I understand the romance of the movie, but when you break it down, fuck you, dude.
He couldn't help it. He loved her.
Yeah. Well, still not okay. How's it going?
Hi,
Hi. What's your name?
my name's Erin.
How old are you, Aaron?
I'm 23 years old.
Aaron, 23. How can we help?
So I sent you guys a email. And so my situation is this, that I have been dating somebody who is not from where I'm from. I'm from a major city, and he's from the middle of the country, really small town, farmer type of background, like family-wise. And so he moved here, and originally he came here for work. It was a better opportunity for him, but he hates it, like to the extreme. The noise bothers him, the people, everything about it is not for him.
Okay.
And so we hit it off really well, really quickly. And now it looks like we can't be together because he's just so unhappy here that it's going to be very hard for him to be with anyone here. And even today, there's like an update from the email I sent you, which was that I told him that he should go home because it's obvious that he's so unhappy here that it's not worth it.
Oh.
Now, when you said that to him, did you really mean that, or were you almost like a reverse psychology? You should go then.
No, I meant it of like, you're not happy.
Okay.
You got to do what's going to make you happy. And that, like, it hurts to say that. But I mean, I have gone on so many dates in my life, so many, and I have never clicked with anyone. So It was really shocking to meet somebody that you click with. And then the reason why you can't really be together is just because he's miserable here.
And you wrote in the
long-
email she lost her virginity to him as well.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
another layer.
Another layer. How long has he lived there?
A couple months.
Okay.
Like 4.
And not a long time.
Not a long time.
Not a long.
She's an extrovert. He's an introvert. She said he likes to be very quiet, play video games, and be in the woods by himself.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want you to feel bad. It might have been a little preemptive of you to tell him he should move. He's only been there for a few months. It takes people. I don't care if you go from one major city to another. Every city is different. Every situation is different. It takes people sometimes a good long time to acclimate. I'm not saying he's going to eventually love living there, but
Yeah.
Obviously you really like him. You lost your virginity with this guy. You are emotionally invested. You've expressed that you feel like you've dated a ton and haven't connected. And he's the first person you connected with, so you have a lot invested, and you really like him, and you're really bummed out that right now it seems like something so simple is not allowing you to move forward. But I wonder if indirectly you're kind of adding to this pressure that he has, because again, it's been less than 6 months from living there. I mean, how many friends does he have there other than you?
He does have some family, but this family is moving soon.
Okay.
And so that's definitely going to make it harder.
Sure, and how old is he?
24.
Okay, young man in a new city, take some time, I mean, if I were his friend and he came to me and said, regardless of you, let's say you didn't exist in his life, and he's like, oh, I'm just really not liking it, I'd be like, give it a year at least.
You've
man.
actually given that advice to a lot of people, haven't you?
Yeah, it's just like, you know what? Even if you are miserable for a little bit, that's fine. Live in a city you're miserable for. It's a good learning experience. Like, there's nothing wrong. Take some risk. It's not going to be necessarily easy, especially if he's like thinking of just moving back to where he's from. And he may end up doing that. Like, some people aren't meant for a big city, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Some people want that, but there's a difference between that and the first time in your life you take a real big risk and you change your whole world and environment. You're not going to fall in love with it immediately. It's just going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult, and you're going to get sad, and you're going to get lonely, and you're going to, oh, who are these weird people? And why is it like this? And why do people talk like this? And why do people like, it's an adjustment, you know? So I don't think you should be telling him to move right now.
I mean, he also had said, like, many times he wants to go home, and
I
this
get
time
that.
it was like,
Yeah, I'm sure he has. I don't doubt it. But, you know.
yeah.
The holidays just
Like,
happened.
unfortunately, listen, you're also probably not the person who should tell him to stay, because you're totally biased, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, you can tell him to stay, but like, if I were his friend or a older brother or a coworker, I would just say, you owe it to yourself. You have nothing to lose by sticking it out and making this work. Because if the worst thing that happens is you last 6 more months and you still don't like it, you can still always go back, you know? And even if you don't love this city, you're gonna have experiences that you'll remember. And even if there are experiences that he doesn't necessarily have the best time, there's still going to be life experiences. And there's nothing negative about that. So that's just like life advice I'd give this totally strange guy. As far as you're concerned, I mean, you know, I'm sorry. That sucks. You know, you love a guy. He's excited about him. You lost your virginity to him. You're going to have, you know, this guy will always be in your life as a memory of nothing else. You lost your virginity to him. That's special, you know? And that's, if he does move back, if it doesn't work out, even though you feel like you've gone on a million dates and he's the first person, and you might have to go on a million more to find another person, you're still only 23. You know, this is the time of your life that you're gonna be glad at some point in your life. Whenever you meet your guy, and even if it's him, you're going to be glad at some point that you went on all those dates. You are. You're going to be glad that you have these stories to tell. You're going to be glad that you have these memories of bad dates and weird dudes and all these stories you got to have with your friends. You're going to be happy you have them, and they're going to be fun. And then when you like are older and someone says, tell me about a time in your life when this happened, you're going to have things to say, you know? And so, you know, it's just, you're not feeling that right now because you're sad and bummed, and I get why.
I think part of the worry is that he's been in really bad moods within the last since basically Christmas. It seemed like something switched of him being really unhappy to be here to a different level, to where he doesn't really want to do anything anymore because he's so unhappy.
He's in a rut. I mean, again, minus, you know, not having access to him, and he's not even asking for our advice, but you could pull away a little bit and say, hey, listen, you know how I feel about you. I really like you. I want you, but and the reason why I said move is because I care about you so much. I just want you to be happy, even if it's not with me, kind of thing. But, you know, you could even say, hey, advice I got from someone else, like, why don't you just stick it out? And I'm around if you want to hang out, you know, but like, let's try to do some things, you know. Well, here's what you don't want to do, right? If you do hang out with him and he's grumpy and in a bad mood, don't keep pointing out that he's in a bad mood. You know, if it's going to make you frustrated, and I get why it would, it's like, oh, dude, you're like, really, just get the fucking get out of it, you know? That's only going to make it worse. So just kind of, he needs a support system, and he's probably just feeling lonely and discouraged, you know? How's his job going for him? Is he like the actual job?
And I've heard stories, I mean, they're like mean to him. Like, I've never seen anything like it. It's giving, like, where I'm from, like a really bad reputation, because
Devil Wears Prada.
I've heard them, like, they're assholes.
What's the industry that he's working in?
He works in like a hospital. And so it's a lot of people in the medical field that are maybe not that happy that they chose that field, and they're just like really nasty.
Is he doing residency?
Yeah.
He can't leave then, can you? Can you leave residency?
No, not residency, sorry. Like a like a tech,
Oh,
He's like a surgical tech or a medical tech or something?
like ultrasound, X-ray.
Okay. So
Yeah.
in theory, he could get a job at a different hospital?
I've spoken to him about this because I do know people at another major hospital
Yeah.
that is good.
yeah.
And he doesn't want to do it because he's just like, it's still this area and it's still like going to be the same thing.
Sure.
I mean, I tried. And even like if I wasn't with him and I were to end it hypothetically, I would say like, I would still want you to be happy here. Like I would want you to like to help you.
Listen,
So I'm not going to hold bad
that's the
blood.
thing. But the reality is maybe a big city is not for him. You can't necessarily change that. I don't think he really knows that answer because now he's combining a new city that's not necessarily his speed with an work environment that's toxic and he's just not having fun. There's no way he would like it. But he's not getting an objective picture of what this experience could be for him. So minus your relationship with him, again, I would just, as a friend, encourage him. It's just say, hey, listen, what's the worst thing? You don't like these people and how they treat you. That regardless if you were back at your hometown or you stayed here, that environment wouldn't be something you'd want to stick in. Can we agree on that? And you'd be like, yeah. So like, what's the worst thing that could happen if you just give it one more shot and maybe it might grow on you and maybe not, but especially if the reason he moved out here is because there's better opportunities and he came out, is he really willing to quit this easily in less than a year on something that, like if he gives it another job and it still doesn't work out, he can always move then. So like the downside of staying is there's not much, and there's a big upside of maybe there's been a lot of people in his situation that have stuck it out and been really glad that they did. A lot of people who, as a 24-year-old man, young man, he's going to move back, and it's kind of like, well, he can always go home and play video games and stay inside. So try if you can to be more of a friend than a girlfriend to him right now, and try to take the pressure off. When you get frustrated at him, try not to express that to him right now. Express it to your friends or give us a call or something. Yeah. Because, don't make him feel pressure about it or guilt. And, does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
He's lacking some friends here and he's lacking a support system. And I can only assume that when he's getting support from you, he's worried if it's even objective. He needs to stick it out for at least a year. So tell him that, just say, hey, listen, I know I told you to move, but like, you never know. So just try. What's the worst thing that can happen in a year? You move back.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
And he'll have good experience. And if nothing else, he needs, from a resume standpoint, he doesn't want to quit something in 6 months. But if he does decide to say, you should say, hey, make the most of it. Don't poo-poo it. Don't be like, oh, I'm going to stay, but it's going to suck. Positive mental attitude. Make the most of it.
I understand.
All right.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I really appreciate this.
All right. Well, take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
How's it going?
I'm good. I'm Shannon.
Hi,
I'm
Shannon.
24.
Hi, Shannon, 24. How can we help?
Well, actually, this past weekend, I sort of lost one of my guy friends. We have been very distant for the past month. He hasn't really been, he usually texts me or whatever and calls me or whatever, because we live 45 minutes away, and so I don't really see him that much except in the summer. But anyway, he's just been really distant with me, and so finally, I've been expressing my concerns about it. I've literally blatantly asked him, okay, is our friendship still a priority? And I don't know. These are just one of the times where I was just like, all right, do you still care about me or whatever. That's not what I actually said, but anyway, he replied back and was just like, I'm with my girlfriend. Is this an emergency? And frankly, it really hurts.
Mm.
And part of the reason why I decided it was best if I am not friends with him again is because I did like him like last year, and I think I still did a little bit into the summer. And I knew that if I was friends with him, well, for one, it would affect my emotional health because of that. And two, I knew I would think of the girl and be like, okay, what does she have that I don't? You know, and if anything, I just want advice on how to deal with a problem like this, because I'm to the point where I feel like I'm too afraid to have a guy friend now.
Well, you never did. You know, you liked him, and that's fine. And then you kept trying to, you know, come up with all these scenarios and then tell yourself, well, I used to like him, but now I don't. Now we're friends, you know. But the truth is you just liked him the whole time, you know?
Okay.
So, you know, it's you just need to be careful in the future not to do this again. And what I mean by again is not to convince yourself that you're just friends with a guy you ultimately like, right? And so if you meet a guy and you enjoy his company, you need to be honest with yourself and vulnerable with yourself to admit, do I like him or not? Right? Because what people do, you know, guys do it too, is that it's easier and safer to just act like a friend with someone that you have an attraction to, a physical attraction to, and you don't really have to risk anything because we're just going to hang out. We're just going to be friends, you know? And then you kind of tell yourself you're just friends. And then maybe you have this kind of period where you admit to yourself you like them. But that, you know, so you have to not do that again, you know, because there's no risk in being friends with a guy if you are in fact just friends, you know, and you will know when that's true because you really would like the idea of you guys dating. You'd be like, oh God, no, please. I hope they don't like me because I'll feel real awkward. You know, that's when you know that you are just friends with them because you're like really hoping they never be like, I love you. And you're like, what? No, you know, because you are just friends. It would be the same thing as, you know, you are attracted to men. You're not attracted to women, right? I mean, that's fine if you are.
Yeah.
But, so imagine one of your female friends would say, I love you. You'd be like, well, I thought we're just friends. You know, I'm not attracted to you that way. You should think of it the same way, you know? A guy friend, even though if you're attracted to guys, if he's just a friend, is just that, a platonic friend that's like a brother. So just, you got to be careful and be honest with yourself and not convince yourself you're just friends just because it's easier to accept and you're just afraid of being vulnerable and you're afraid of admitting to yourself that you like someone that might not like you back. You know, that's scary. It's scary to even do it to yourself. You know, it's scary to admit to someone that you like them and then get rejected, but even to yourself to say, oh, I really like them, but I don't think they're going to like me. You know, we do that a lot sometimes. So.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. He already knows that I liked him.
Yeah.
I guess I still kind of do, but I was wondering that myself. So I guess that's also why I feel weird about it. So
Why do you feel weird? What do you mean by weird?
By weird, I mean, I know it's doable, but I think it's just
What's doable?
to have a friend that's a guy who's dating someone.
Yeah. But
But
it's doable, but this is not him. It's not doable with him because you don't want him to be your friend. So what you need to do is stop pretending and telling yourself and convince yourself that you can be his friend. It is totally okay with admitting yourself that you like him and that you're making things way too complicated for yourself and you're taking on this burden of like, you don't have to. I'm sure you have other friends. He's a guy you liked, you know, and that's why you got so close with him. But you're kind of being dishonest with yourself about the friendship. It's not a friendship. You like him, and that's okay. And I'm sorry he has a girlfriend, and maybe he doesn't feel the same way, but someone else will, you know. But what you don't want to do is he's going to, because he probably likes you as a friend, right? But he also has a girlfriend. He doesn't think of you the same way that he does his girlfriend. So he'll totally be open to the idea of you being okay and being cool with the fact that he has a girlfriend and being a friend, but on his terms, right? So then what you, like a lot of people in your position often have a habit of doing is being like, okay, well then can I do this? I'll do this. And then you lie to yourself about your ability to be the type of friend that he is okay with having, even though you're not, because you like him. And you want him to make you a priority. Like when you said, like, is our friendship still a priority? You're not meaning friendship. You mean, am I a priority for you? The same way you would want to the same way you would want a boyfriend to make you a priority. And so you're kind of making it confusing for yourself and confusing for him. Because in fairness, like, how many friends have you gone to and said, am I still a priority for you? That should all come naturally with friends. But with a guy you like, you kind of use the friendship as an excuse to demand more from him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think you're just a little bummed, and that's okay because you like him. And I'm sorry, you're bummed.
It happens.
It's a grieving process. When you say you lost your friend, you kind of feel like you got broken up with. I'm assuming when he was like, hey, I'm with my girlfriend, are you busy right now? That really probably hurt.
Yeah.
And it felt...
That really hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to start admitting that to yourself. There's okay. A lot of people are in your shoes, and you're hurt, and you got your heart broken a little bit, and you didn't lose a friend. You lost a potential lover, kind of, a boy you have a crush on, someone you have connected with, and you felt, and half of a relationship is the emotional connection that friends have. So you had half of a relationship with a guy. You didn't have the other part, and he was never your boyfriend. But there is a grieving process because you still lost that part. But don't confuse it as a platonic friendship, and don't lie to yourself, and stop trying to make this friendship work. You're torturing yourself.
Yeah. And in the future, don't invest too much of yourself into someone who doesn't like you back the same way.
Yeah. But to do that, you have to admit to yourself that you like them.
Yeah.
You stop pretending you don't. People always have a way of admitting, well, I used to like them, but I'm fine now. I'm fine. No, we're just friends now.
Well, the only reason why I did think that I didn't really like him was because there have been times where I have hung out with him and been like, yeah, I'm not attracted to him. You know what I mean? But then there's times I think I was kind of liked the idea of dating him, and that was the problem, I guess.
Listen, I get why it can all be very confusing, and it makes sense that there are days where you do and there are days that you don't. But the point is, what he clearly wasn't is a platonic friend you didn't have interest in. And because you weren't sure if he reciprocated the same feelings, it is natural for you almost like internally try to convince yourself you don't. Well, I don't know if I really like him. You do. I'm telling you that you really do. And just imagine, not to torture yourself, but imagine how it would make you feel if he called you up today and said, I love you. Can we be together? I really want to be with you. I just want to spend all my time with you. All I want to do is make you the biggest priority ever. Imagine how good that would make you feel. Now, don't do that to torture yourself, but do that to acknowledge your feelings for him and know that you can't keep hanging out with him in these false pretenses of friendship, because that's just going to be torture.
And I'll say, as someone in my 30s, yes, you can be friends with men and friends with men who have wives and who have girlfriends. It's totally possible. And you can love them and they can love you.
Yes. But you are very clear that they are...
Yes, I'm not interested romantically in them at all. And that same is for me.
And the flip side of the situation I just shared with you, the idea of him professing his love for you would be like, oh my God, please, it would give you hives. So it's very black and white. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
Either it gives you butterflies or it gives you hives.
Yeah.
And it's real simple to imagine what your reaction would be. There's no gray area. Some days you do, some days you don't. And I think, and I think in your case, it's just, you really liked them,
Yeah, which is why
such a bummer.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I just don't think I can be friends with him because of
Can't.
that reason.
Can't.
Exactly. So don't torture yourself.
Yeah.
Because
Good
a lot
job.
of people in your position have this habit of
We just talked to someone.
figuring out how I can be friends with them, and then you'll torture yourself because he'll be friends with you. He will.
Then one day you'll wake up at 2 a.m. and text
I've had
them, I
guy
want to see
friends. I've had guy friends have these types of women in their lives for years, and there's a little hookup in between, but they're only available, when. So that could happen, It's and if you let it happen, he'll let it happen, and in some cases, it's not just on him because again, he's like, we're friends,
No.
So.
Yeah.
I think you should walk away. This is a breakup for you. I treat it like that. Stop calling him your friend, and mourn. You're allowed to mourn. You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to feel vulnerable and even angry. But some of that, but you only make it worse when you pretend that he's a buddy. There's no reason to feel foolish or sometimes in these cases you feel dumb and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that or what. It's fine. It's over now.
Yeah.
But next boy you meet, if the similar thing happens, because you're going to have a pattern, just admit to yourself you like him and see if he likes you back. And if he does, great. And if he doesn't,
Move on.
don't be his friend. There's no consolation prize with being friends with guys that you have a crush on, and for some reason we seem to do this. Well, we can be friends. Okay. You're not going to change their mind later. It's not an in. Yeah. Men do it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I think you just need to be honest with yourself and accept it. And even if it makes you a little sad in the short term, you'll be better off in the long term.
Thanks so much for calling in.
Hopefully
Yeah,
that was
thank
helpful. You're going to be okay. I know. It's just
Thank you.
probably just dumped a lot of truth on you and, but it's going to be fine. You're not the first person to
Nope.
have gone through this. So,
Ashley and
All right.
Jared.
Thank you.
no,
Okay.
Ashley and Jared are the exception, not the rule.
I know, but she did that. Okay. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Ashley and Jared are so the exception.
I know,
not
but
the rule.
that's the tactic she took. Become his best friend.
Different though. No, it's different because it's different.
I
don't
know,
how to
I
explain it.
know, but
That's not what's going on.
I don't think
here.
it's a good thing to do also, but
She
she was adorable. So adorable.
Yeah. Classic case.
I mean, we got 2 calls, one on one end, one on the other.
He is not your friend, and that's the thing. The boy, and I bet she's nice and always there for him.
Yeah.
Very accommodating.
Yeah.
And it's a slippery slope of him, and he knows probably,
Deep
but
down, yeah.
Well,
Well, she told him. She had feelings for him.
yeah. And then she's like, but then I don't. Let's be friends. And then
Right, yeah.
I don't really like him. I used to like him. I don't now. But I just want to be his friend.
But I'm really, really hurt.
But I'm really hurt. And I want to know why you're not making us a priority. Dating's hard, people.
Dating, yeah. Relationships. Well, another fun episode.
Another fun episode. What did we learn today?
Heavy episode.
Heavy. We learned about grooming. I'm still a little creeped out from that concept.
Yeah, me too.
Ugh.
But good conversations to have.
Trust your friends.
Yeah, be there for your friends. So important.
Yeah. Anything else?
No. Thanks so much for everyone for, again, being vulnerable and opening up.
Thanks for your questions. We will see you back tomorrow for another recap of The Bachelor.
Mm-hmm.
And then join us on Wednesday for guests to be determined. I don't know. All right, see you later.